Every man has a moment when something inside him changes, when he suddenly looks at a woman and realizes, I don't ever want to lose her. It doesn't happen because of her beauty, her body, or even her kindness. It happens because of two rare attitudes. Attitudes so uncommon that when a woman shows them, a man's entire emotional system wakes up. He begins to see her differently. He starts imagining a future with her. He becomes afraid to lose her, even if he never admits it. You see, men are not emotionally blind. They just respond to signals most women never send. They fall for actions that touch their ego, their need for admiration, and their fear of losing something rare. But when a woman knows how to move in silence, with calm confidence and emotional control, something happens inside him that logic can't explain. He starts craving her respect more than her attention. He starts wanting her loyalty more than her affection. And without realizing it, he falls, deeply, quietly, and permanently. In this video, I'm going to reveal the two rare attitudes that make a man truly fall in love. Not for a week, not for a phase, but in a way that he feels connected to your soul. But before we continue, I want you to do something simple. If you're tired of always being the one who gives more, if you've ever wondered why men pull away just when things seem perfect, or if you're ready to finally understand what really captures a man's heart, then stay with me until the very end. Because after this video, you'll never look at male behavior the same way again. Now let's be honest. Most women think men fall in love through passion, attention, or emotional intensity. But that's not how it works. A man might desire passion, but he respects calmness. He might enjoy attention, but he chases independence. And emotional intensity? It attracts him in the beginning, but it drains him in the long run. What makes him fall for real is when he senses that you don't need him to be happy. You choose him because you're already complete. That's when his instincts shift from, I can have her anytime, to, I might lose her if I'm not careful. And that's when love begins. This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding how the male mind connects respect with emotion. A man doesn't give his heart to the woman who tries to control him. He gives it to the one who inspires him to rise. He falls for the woman who doesn't beg for love, but silently sets her standards so high that he feels honored to meet them. Because love, for a man, starts with admiration. If he doesn't admire you, he might desire you, but he won't stay. If he admires you, even a simple look, a calm tone, or your silence during a conflict will shake something inside him that he didn't even know existed. And when that happens, his emotions stop being logical. He starts to think of you during the day. He starts imagining you next to him in moments of victory and defeat. And that's when he begins to fall, not for what you say, but for what you embody. Today, you'll understand what those two attitudes are, and how they transform the way a man sees you forever. So take a deep breath, and keep watching, because what you'll hear next might explain why certain women seem to have a magnetic power over men, while others keep giving love but never receive it back. Let me tell you a story that perfectly shows how these two rare attitudes can turn an ordinary connection into something unforgettable. There was a woman named Emily. She wasn't the loudest in the room, she didn't try to impress anyone, and she wasn't the kind of woman who needed constant attention to feel validated. But there was something about her that drew people in, especially one man named Daniel. Daniel was used to being chased. He was attractive, confident, and successful enough to get the kind of attention that feeds a man's ego. Women liked him for his charm, his confidence, his humor, but most of them fell into the same pattern. They tried too hard. They texted first, they over-explained, they worried about his silence, and they constantly needed reassurance. It wasn't manipulation, it was fear. Fear of losing him. And that fear killed the mystery every single time. But Emily was different. When Daniel met her, he expected the same pattern. A few messages, a lot of emotional investment, maybe even a bit of jealousy to feel wanted. But what he found instead was a woman who didn't play that game at all. She liked him, it was obvious, but she didn't need him. She didn't chase, she didn't demand. She didn't overreact when he pulled away for a few days. In fact, her silence was louder than any words. When Daniel didn't reply to one of her messages for almost 2 days, Emily didn't double text, didn't ask what was wrong, didn't try to make him jealous. She simply went on with her life. She posted a photo smiling with her friends, shared a quote about self-respect, and then disappeared offline for a while. And that silence, that peaceful distance, started to haunt him. For the first time, Daniel felt like he was the one wondering what she was thinking. He started checking her profile, waiting for her to appear online, thinking about what she might be doing. His mind began to spin, not because she played games, but because she had something that most people lose too quickly: emotional control. You see, Emily's attitude made him feel something no other woman had made him feel before. Curiosity mixed with admiration. He admired her calmness. He admired her confidence. And deep down, he respected her more than he could explain. That was the first spark of real attraction. Not the shallow, short-lived kind, but the kind that slowly grows into emotional connection. Weeks passed, and their connection deepened. But what really changed everything was the second rare attitude she showed. One that completely disarmed his defenses. They were having dinner one evening when Daniel, half-jokingly, said something slightly arrogant about how women always fall for his charm. Emily didn't laugh. She looked at him calmly and said, "Charm fades fast when it's not backed by character." She didn't say it with anger or sarcasm. She said it with quiet confidence. Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't flinch. It was firm, yet graceful. That one sentence hit Daniel harder than any argument ever could, because it wasn't about putting him down. It was about reminding him of something deeper. And in that moment, he realized something. He couldn't treat her like he treated everyone else. She demanded a different version of him, not by force, but by presence. That night, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about her, not because she was playing hard to get, but because she stood out in a world where everyone else tried to please. She didn't want to win him. She wanted something real. And that quiet power, that mix of calmness and strength, started to change him. He began texting her first. He began opening up emotionally, something he rarely did. And for the first time in a long time, he felt like he could lose something valuable if he didn't step up. That's how it happens. That's how a man falls. Not through chaos or intensity, but through peace that demands respect. Because when a woman has the courage to remain calm, and the confidence to speak truth without fear of losing someone, she becomes unforgettable. Now let's break down exactly what those two rare attitudes are, and why they have such a deep emotional effect on a man. Because once you understand them, you'll see how they change not only the way he sees you, but also how he feels around you. The first rare attitude is emotional calmness in moments of uncertainty. Most women don't realize how powerful calmness is in the male mind. When a man pulls away, delays a message, acts distant, or becomes inconsistent, most women panic. They think, "What did I do wrong?" Or, "He must be losing interest." So they react. They ask questions, overthink, and try to fix the connection. But that reaction, even when it comes from love, triggers something in him that pushes him away even more. It confirms to his subconscious that he's in control, that you're emotionally invested more than he is. And once a man feels that imbalance, his desire starts to fade. But when a woman responds with calmness, not fake indifference but true peace, she interrupts the pattern completely. Her silence says, "I trust myself." Her energy says, "I'm fine with or without you." And that's when his instinct flips. Suddenly, the emotional roles reverse. He starts to wonder, why isn't she chasing me? He starts to feel uncertain, curious, and even a little insecure. That's when attraction turns into connection, because now he's the one thinking about you. Calmness is magnetic, because it shows emotional strength. It tells him you're not moved by temporary behavior, that your worth doesn't depend on his attention. And nothing captures a man's respect faster than realizing that his silence doesn't control your peace. Remember this, when you don't chase, you create space, and that space is where desire grows. It's not about playing games. It's about showing emotional maturity. Because a man doesn't fall in love when you try to prove your love. He falls in love when he realizes he can't shake your presence out of his mind, no matter how hard he tries. Now let's talk about the second rare attitude, and this one is even more powerful. It's the ability to speak truth with quiet confidence. Most people either avoid conflict completely or explode emotionally. Both reactions destroy respect. But when a woman can express her truth calmly, without fear, without trying to control the outcome, she enters a space that very few ever reach: feminine authority. This isn't about being cold or dominant. It's about standing in your truth without needing him to agree. It's the moment when you say, "I don't like being treated that way," or "I expect honesty," in a calm tone that doesn't seek validation. It's strength in stillness, and that's what disarms a man emotionally, because it speaks to the deepest part of him that craves structure and respect. You see, men test boundaries not always consciously. but instinctively, they want to know how much space they have before a woman loses herself. When he sees that your boundaries are quiet but unbreakable, his entire perception of you changes. He starts to see you as a woman he can't play with, a woman who makes him think before he speaks, a woman who makes him want to be better. That's what real attraction looks like for a man. It's not about lust, it's about admiration mixed with emotional tension. Because a man doesn't want to lead a woman he can control. He wants to lead a woman who makes him rise. And that rise begins when you show both peace and power in the same breath. These two attitudes, calmness and truth, form an emotional polarity that drives men crazy in the best way. They can't stop thinking about you because you're different. You don't react like everyone else, you don't try to convince him of your value. You embody it. And that's what triggers love. He doesn't fall in love when you give him everything. He falls when he realizes he can't earn your love unless he brings his best self forward. This is how you shift the dynamic forever. Instead of asking, "What can I do to make him stay?" you start thinking, "What energy do I bring when I stop chasing and start living?" Because here's the truth. When a man meets a woman who knows how to stay calm and speak truth without trying to please or control, he feels something rare. He feels safe and challenged at the same time. Safe because she's emotionally stable. Challenged because she doesn't tolerate less than respect. That combination hits him on both primal and emotional levels. It awakens the protector in him, and it softens the player in him. And once he experiences that balance, peace with passion, softness with strength, he can't forget it. Every time he meets someone new, he'll subconsciously compare her energy to yours. Every silence will remind him of your calmness. Every argument will remind him of your composure. And every moment he feels lost, he'll remember the woman who never raised her voice to prove her worth, because she never had to. That's when he falls. Not all at once. Not with fireworks. But slowly, deeply, and with a kind of respect that lasts far longer than attraction. Now let's talk about what happens when you don't embody these two attitudes. When emotional calmness turns into anxiety, and quiet confidence turns into fear of rejection. Because this is where most women lose a man's interest without even realizing it. Every man unconsciously looks for two things in a woman: emotional safety and emotional respect. He wants to feel that being around you brings him peace, not pressure. He wants to feel admired, not evaluated. And he wants to know that if he disappears for a moment, you won't collapse, that you're strong enough to hold your own ground. But when a woman reacts from fear, the entire dynamic changes. Let's say he starts to pull away. Fewer messages, less enthusiasm, shorter replies. You feel the distance, you sense the shift, and suddenly your mind starts racing. Is he losing interest? Did I do something wrong? So you reach out. You ask questions, you try to fix it. You show that you care. But here's the painful truth. In his mind, that moment confirms what he already suspects, that you need him more than he needs you. And once a man feels that imbalance, his instinct isn't to stay. It's to pull back even more. It's not cruelty, it's nature. Men are drawn to challenge and mystery, not games, but emotional depth. When he knows you're waiting by your phone, reading his silences and trying to decode his behavior, he stops feeling admiration. He feels control, and control kills attraction. Because when a man senses he's the center of your emotional world, he stops feeling like he has to earn your attention. He starts to relax, not in love, but in effort. And once a man stops trying, the relationship begins to fade. That's why emotional calmness isn't optional, it's essential. When you stay calm during uncertainty, you protect your energy and trigger curiosity instead of pity. Now what about the second attitude? Speaking truth with quiet confidence. When a woman doesn't have this skill, she either avoids uncomfortable conversations or uses emotion to force a reaction. She might say things like, "You never care about my feelings," or "I guess I just don't matter to you." Not because she wants to manipulate, but because she feels unheard. But to a man, that sounds like pressure, not connection. It makes him defensive. It makes him shut down. You see, men don't respond to emotional chaos. They respond to emotional clarity. When you can say calmly, "I don't like how that made me feel," it lands 10 times deeper than any emotional explosion. It shows maturity, control, and confidence. The three things men crave but rarely admit. Without calmness, he feels tension. Without truth, he feels confusion. And when a man feels both tension and confusion, he distances himself emotionally to protect his peace. That's why so many women feel like they're chasing connection while losing themselves. They keep giving, explaining, forgiving, and yet, he keeps pulling away. But when you start embodying calm and truth, everything shifts. He starts to earn your time. He starts to think before he speaks. He starts to realize that your love isn't guaranteed. It's something that must be honored. And that shift changes his behavior completely. When he sees that you're not controlled by emotion, he feels safe to open up emotionally himself. When he hears you speak your truth without anger, he feels safe to be honest, even about things he's never told anyone. That's when emotional intimacy begins. Not through constant communication, but through quiet understanding. Not through attention, but through mutual respect. But here's the danger. Once you've tasted that kind of connection, it's hard to accept anything less. You'll stop feeling satisfied with half-effort relationships. You'll stop begging for consistency, and you'll start valuing peace over presence. Because deep down, you'll understand that love isn't about chasing someone who doesn't know your worth. It's about being so grounded in your value that only someone emotionally mature can meet you there. That's the urgency of this message. Every time you lose your calm, you lose your power. Every time you hold back your truth, you silence your worth. And every time you let fear guide your reactions, you teach a man that your emotions are easy to manipulate. But the moment you decide to embody calmness and confidence, you send a different message, one that says, I'm not afraid to walk away if this doesn't align with my peace. And that, right there, is the moment he wakes up. Because the woman who isn't afraid to lose a man is the one who makes him afraid to lose her. In the end, every man falls for the same reason, not because of looks or charm or effort, but because of how a woman makes him feel when she doesn't try too hard. He falls in love with peace. He falls in love with quiet confidence. He falls in love with that rare energy that says, I'm not here to control you. I'm here to share something real, but only if you're ready. It's that combination of emotional calmness and truth that melts his defenses and awakens something primal in his heart. Because love, for a man, isn't about words. It's about how safe he feels in your presence and how challenged he feels by your strength. When you stop trying to convince him, he starts convincing himself. When you stop chasing, he starts remembering what it feels like to earn a woman's love again. And that's when the tables turn. He starts texting first. He starts planning things. He starts wanting to be near you, not because you demand it, but because he feels inspired by your energy. He starts to see you as the woman he doesn't want to disappoint, the woman who silently expects respect, and the woman who, even in silence, makes his heart race. And do you know what's even more powerful? When you live this way, it's not just men who change, you change. You stop feeling anxious when someone doesn't reply. You stop begging for closure that never comes. You stop doubting your worth every time someone walks away. Because now you understand something most people never do. Calmness isn't weakness, and it's power. Your calmness protects you from emotional chaos. Your truth protects you from manipulation. And together, they protect your heart from everything that isn't love. When you master that, you stop chasing relationships that drain you. You start attracting connections that align with your value. Because a woman who knows her worth doesn't need to explain it. She embodies it. She moves differently. She speaks differently. She loves differently. And that energy can't be faked. It's felt. So if you've been wondering why love always feels one-sided, why men seem to lose interest once you give your all, or why the ones you want never stay, remember this. You don't need to do more. You need to be more still. Let your silence speak for you. Let your standards filter for you. Let your calmness reveal who truly deserves your love. Because the right man, the one who's emotionally ready, grounded, and real, will recognize your peace as a sign of maturity, not distance. He'll see your truth as beauty, not defiance. And he'll never risk losing a woman who carries both grace and strength in her heart. Every man truly falls in love when he meets that rare energy, the kind that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't compete, the kind that says, I'm already whole. That's the kind of love that lasts. That's the kind of woman he never forgets. So take a moment, breathe, and remember this truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And when you become peace and strength combined, you'll stop chasing love, because love will start chasing you. If this message resonated with you, don't just leave quietly. Leave stronger. Reflect on what you've learned. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and keep growing into the woman who doesn't lose herself trying to be loved. Because once you step into that energy, everything changes. Not just how men see you, but how you see yourself. And that's the kind of transformation that no one can ever take away from you.